Did Justin Trudeau lie about traitors in Parliament? That is the question, isn't it? So the final report of the inquiry into foreign interference came out this week. The inquiry was set up by the Trudeau government to look into foreign interference and occasions of foreign meddling in Canada's democratic processes in the past, in the present, and the future. The future component of that is just about putting guardrails in place to ensure no bad actors are able to interfere in our democratic processes going forward. Right? Now, this investigation took 16 months. The big takeaway from earlier reports was that there were parliamentarians colluding with China, India, or Russia. Choose your suspect here, right? Dominic LeBlanc, the current finance minister, he was public safety minister at the time. He said it would be irresponsible to release the names of the members of parliament who aided foreign meddling. Justin Trudeau testified in front of the federal inquiry under oath. Just listen to this real quick.
Because I am Prime Minister and privy to all these informations, I have the names of a number of parliamentarians, former parliamentarians and/or candidates in the Conservative Party of Canada who are engaged or at high risk of, or for whom there is clear intelligence around foreign interference. And I have directed CSIS and others to try and inform the Conservative Party leader to be warned and armed to be able to make decisions that protect the integrity of that party, of its members, from attempts at activities around foreign interference. And the decision by the leader of the Conservative Party to not get those classified briefings means that nobody in his party, not him, nobody in a position of power knows the names of these individuals and can take appropriate action.
He said he had names of Conservative parliamentarians who are engaged in or at high risk of foreign interference. There was talk in June of last year that these parliamentarians willfully colluded with foreign parties. The allegations at the time were no joke. I'll read them to you. The NSECOP report from last year suggested these traitors, because this is really all you can call them, right? These traitors were communicating frequently with foreign missions before or during political campaigns to obtain support from community groups or businesses, which the diplomatic missions promised to quietly mobilize in a candidate's favor. The second allegation, they were accepting knowingly or through willful blindness, they were accepting funds or benefits from foreign missions or their proxies, which have been layered or otherwise disguised to conceal their source. Number three, they were providing foreign diplomatic officials with privileged information on the work or opinions of fellow parliamentarians, knowing that such information will be used by those officials to inappropriately pressure parliamentarians to change their positions. Number four allegation, I told you these were serious. They were responding to requests or direction from foreign officials to improperly influence parliamentary colleagues or parliamentary business to the advantage of a foreign state. And the fifth allegation, they were providing information learned in confidence from the government to a known intelligence officer of a foreign state. Now, these parliamentarians were essentially being accused of treason. There was a whole kerfuffle made of the fact that Pierre Poilievre chose to not obtain security clearance to get briefed on the shady activities within his own party. I said at the time this was a clever try by Justin Trudeau. I said that this could be a stain on Pierre Poilievre's run for Prime Minister. So I was going into this final report on foreign interference thinking in my head, this is about to be a can of worms, right? They're about to bust this whole thing wide open and maybe we can start to see some change. You're about to be disappointed. The big headline, there was no evidence of traitors in parliament conspiring with foreign states. So what the fuck did we spend 16 months talking about here, guys? What was the whole thing with security briefings and stuff? Like, somebody needs to square this for me. 16 months. And what did we actually learn here? I've got some questions to ask Justin Trudeau here because the math ain't mathing. He said he had names. He implied they had done things that could necessitate ending their political careers. And now we learn there's no evidence? Really? Am I reading this wrong? I don't get it. like I played you the Prime Minister's testimony earlier. Surely there must be evidence that these MPs have done something wrong. Otherwise, why would he say that? Like, I need somebody to untangle me here because I've been thinking about it and it makes no sense. Literally 0 sense. Oh yeah, this is the other part that actually pissed me off. And I want to bring this article by the CBC in here. So this right here was an article by Peter Zimonjic. I probably murdered that name, but he works for the CBC. I'll shout him out, right? It was a great article. So while we didn't learn that there were traitors amongst us, surely they didn't just waste 16 months just to come up with that, right? For real, like no traitors? Really? That's all you had? After all that drama? So let's talk about the key findings from this foreign interference inquiry. They said the single biggest risk to Canadian democracy is the spread of misinformation and disinformation in the media and on social networks. Okay? Like, no shit, Sherlock. Like, I could have told you that 2 years ago. Like, I made a video saying this exact thing 4 months ago. The video's there. It's right there. It's still up there. I'm not lying. The gist of it is that it is way too easy for a foreign party to interfere in our democratic processes. Right now, our country, and to a large extent the US, faces a bit of a crisis of conscience. We either have to choose what amounts to severe censorship or risk the spread of disinformation in our public discourse. The only solution here, in my mind, is to have open and robust public debates where different perspectives are represented. Everybody at the table, even the dumb fuck you consider to be ignorant. You have to have everyone at the table. We sit, we talk, we listen to each other. So in my mind, I thought this key takeaway was absolutely useless piece of information. Anyways, last thing I thought I'd say about this, I don't know if you guys see the irony, but think about it. Canada and the US are currently paranoid about foreign interference. You do see the irony here, don't you? Like, you realize that the US has been actively interfering in countries around the world for years and years. They've been known to destabilize democracies, allegedly. They've been known to subvert governments, also allegedly. I don't want to get into any trouble here, but my point here is that it just seems kind of ironic that we're so concerned about foreign interference in the West now. Anyways, the second big takeaway from the foreign interference inquiry is that intelligence may be unreliable. So Justice Marie-Josée Hogue, the commissioner of the inquiry, reviewed the NCCOP report and said, while it does not name individual parliamentarians, it does make strongly worded and unequivocally stated allegations against individual parliamentarians. Okay, so what is this? Is this the Parents Teachers Association really? A strongly worded allegation? This is how our politicians resolve crime now? Like, in case you didn't know, treason is actually a crime punishable by life imprisonment in this country. But I guess a strongly worded allegation will have to do, right? Like, this is so silly. I don't know what we're doing here. Anyways, the report warns that while intelligence can be extremely valuable in informing government and enabling it to develop policy, the frailties of intelligence make it dangerous to rely on, unquestioned. Okay? I don't work for the CIA or anything, but I'll say this. If your intelligence cannot be verified, it is useless. Like, think about it. If I was a foreign party and I really want to mess you up, I can leak some intelligence to you suggesting that a member of your government has done something. You proceed to chase your own tail for 16 months and come up with something really rich, like there is no evidence of traitors in parliament. Like, don't get me wrong, we should definitely develop policies to prevent foreign interference. But again, you don't need an inquiry to tell you this. The last point I thought I'd talk about here was Pierre Poilievre's refusal to receive security clearance to receive the briefing. I think somehow he managed to fumble his way into the right answer here. It was probably a lose-lose situation for him to receive the security briefing anyways. Like, think about it. What was there to gain if it came to light that India influenced the conservative leadership race that Pierre Poilievre won? Like, literally nothing. What benefit would learning that MPs within his party were colluding with India or China? If he had gotten the briefing, he wouldn't have been able to act on it anyways. Now, I'm not saying he did it because he is a champion of accountability. Like, obviously not. I'm just saying that on a personal level, it was a lose-lose for him. So it makes sense to me that he didn't get the security briefing. On the level of putting Canada first, though, I don't think it looks good for Pierre Poilievre. But you guys tell me, what did you think of the findings of the foreign interference inquiry? I personally think it was a waste of 16 months. I don't think we learned anything groundbreaking. But maybe it's a good thing that we found no evidence of traitors in parliament. Like, you know, I can't shake this feeling that they said no evidence. Like, that doesn't mean shady things aren't going on, though. Like, it said no evidence. It didn't say things are not happening. And I feel like I'm digging now. I should stop. But before I go, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and join the conversation. Everybody's welcome on this channel. You don't have to agree with me, but get in there. I'll see you next time. Take care, guys.